Hi there. Today I am super excited to have you back to the channel. Today we are going to learn about foreign keys. And foreign key is one of the most important concepts in database modeling and also database implementation. All right. So what is foreign key? So foreign keys are there to basically establish relationship between objects. All right. Applications contain objects. And what are some of these objects? Let's consider a school management system. Okay. So an object in a school management system could be student, and another object could be department. And we know that students or students always belong to a department, right? Yeah, so that relationship creates a very simple story of how students interact with department. So for these reasons, there should be a relationship that is created or established between students and department, such that if you identify a student, you would definitely know the department that the student belongs to. And how do we achieve this in data modeling and database implementation? We achieve this using foreign keys. All right, so that is what we are going to learn about today. All right, I have this small model that I would want us to scrutinize and understand what foreign keys actually are and how they come about. So join me on the next screen and let's go through it. All right. So let's consider this as data stream employee management system. And in data stream employee management system, we have three main objects. So we have employee as an object, we have department as an object, and finally we have project as an object. Looking at this design carefully, we can see some lines that is connecting the object together. This defines, or this is also known as cardinality. And cardinality defines the number of occurrences between objects. Okay, so what this means basically is that a department has multiple employees, and an employee belong to a department. It makes sense, right? So every employee that exists in data stream ecosystem belong to a department. All right. Same applies to projects. We say that a project has many employees, and employee belong to a project. So every employee that exists in the company belong to a project. All right. We can also identify some color-coded keys. We have yellow and red. The yellow one depicts primary keys. So through our research, we now know that primary keys are unique identifiers, right? They are used to uniquely identify records in our table. So primary key plays a very crucial role in database design. And also the red ones here, the red one also defines foreign keys. All right. So foreign key, what it does is that it establishes relationship between the two tables or the two entity, and also enforces referential integrity. Let's look into the details. How does that happen? So we have a department ID defined on department table as a primary key. All right. So when this same key is defined on an alien table or a foreign table, which in this case we have department ID again defined on employee table, that makes the department ID on the employee table a foreign key. All right, so now this becomes our foreign key. Great. So this now becomes our foreign key. It works the same for project. So we have project ID defined as the primary key on project table, and we have the same key defined on employee table. We have project ID here. So when we have this transition happen, then project ID on the employee table now becomes our foreign key. So what is basically happening is that this project ID is establishing relationship between employee and our project entity. So just practically, just take it like this. An employee who has a specific project ID, let's say 101. Example, we have 101. The project name is robotics. Robotics. And the description as it goes. So we have 102. The project name is, let's say, AI. And we have the description. Now, if an employee exists here, let's say 1, and the employee ID is 1, and the project ID is 102, and the department, let's say department is 111, then the first name is Daniel, and let's consider 111 as R&D department, research and development department. Okay, and we have 112 as let's say finance department. Okay, so now the simple story we are trying to create here is that we have Daniel, who is an employee who has an employee ID of 1, and Daniel belongs to a project which is 102. So at this point, we do not know what 102 is, right? Yes. For you to know the real definition or the project name, which is 102, you would have to go to the project table. So in the project table, 102 is what? AI. So Daniel belongs to the AI project. And which department is Daniel? We see that Daniel's department is 111. When we come here, Daniel belongs to the R&D department. So that is how relationships are defined using foreign keys. All right. So the next step here is to script this out. All right. That is the development part of it. So all this part is considered as the modeling aspects of our design. Now we are going to go into how to script this model out. So to script this model out, we can do it in 2 main ways. First, we can create our foreign keys together with our tables. Okay, so creating the foreign key together with the table. So let's say table plus foreign key. And that is our first strategy. We can create the foreign key together with our table. So whilst creating our table, we can also define our foreign key. And the next is to create our table without the foreign key. Okay. All right. So if we are going to create our foreign key with the table together, then we have to analyze our design such that we have to analyze our design to determine dependencies. Okay. Yeah, that is very, very important. We have to first analyze our design to determine dependencies. What do I mean by dependencies? All right, when we come to department table, we see that department ID has been defined on employee table. So before we create employee table, then we have already created department. Same applies to project. Before we create employee table, then we have already created the project table, because these two IDs depends on external tables. All right, that is what it means. So you have to follow some order of precedence. All right. Okay, so if you want to create the table without creating the foreign key concurrently, then it means that you can go ahead and create any of the table at any time. It doesn't have to follow any order. Then after the tables are created, then you define your primary key using the alter DDL command. All right, so now let's get to SSMS and script out our design. All right, welcome back. So what we are going to do now is to script out our design, and we are going with the first strategy, where we will analyze our design and develop our tables in a specific order. All right, so first, we know the dependencies, right? We know we have to create those table that has no dependencies first. All right, so we have department and project. So we use our DDL command, but first, look at it. We have to work in the right environment. We are supposed to work in this user-defined database. So we use the keyword use, then data stream. Go ahead and terminate. Then we are in the right environment. Now we go ahead and use our DDL create command. Then we pass the object that we are creating. In this case, we are creating a table. So table, then the next is our table name. So those tables without dependencies. So we can go ahead and create department. All right, department. We open, close the parentheses, terminate. And in the parentheses, we follow our design. So I have the design by my side. I know we have department ID, and the data type is an int. It's a primary key. We proceed with the next, which is a name. Our data type is the voucher. And it's a not now. Not now is basically a constraint that demands that we pass a value. The last is description. Also a not now. All right, so our table is now defined. Look at it. We did not pass our data type. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and create our project. Using the create command, create table, project, open, close parentheses, terminate. Then we define our attributes, okay? So what attributes do we have in there? We have project ID. Project ID is an int, and it's a primary key. Then we have a project name, voucher, and it's 255 bytes. Say it's a not now. Then we have a description for our project. Also voucher 255 and a not now. Then we have start date. Our data type is a date data type. It says a not now. Then we have end date, and type is a date, and it's also a not now. All right. So that's it. So with this process, I will try to stimulate some errors. So I'm just going to create the table for the department, and I'll hold on to the project for now. All right. So we will understand some errors as well. So I'll just go ahead and run for department, and department is successfully created. You can go ahead, refresh this, and drop down the list. Go to tables. Then you see our department is created. I'm going to hold off 4 projects, all right, for now. All right, let's go ahead and create our employee table. We're still going to use the create command, create table, and is employee, open close parenthesis. Then we go ahead, we have employee ID. Employee ID is an int. It's a primary key. Then we have project ID. Project ID is an int and a not now. Department ID. Department ID. It's an int and it's a not now. Not now, as I said, is a constraint. Okay. Then we have fname. Fname is taken after voucher 255, and it's a not now. Let's proceed with our name. Our name takes the same. It's a voucher 255, also a not now. Then gender is char, 1 byte. It accepts now. Then we have status is a varchar. Let's say 45 bytes. And that's it for all our attributes. Now we'll go ahead and define our constraint. All right, so I think I'll just go ahead and run projects 2 and create projects for now. All right, so we have both tables created. So now let's go ahead and define our constraint. To define a constraint, which is basically our foreign key constraint, you pass the keyword constraint, okay? Constraint. All right, so when you pass the keyword constraint, you are just going to give it a name, and it can be any name, okay? So fk underscore, we are going to create for project ID first. fk underscore project underscore employee. You can use emp. All right. Then the next line, we now tell what type of constraint do you want to create. In SQL, we have so many types of constraints. All right. So in this case, we want to create a foreign key constraint. So foreign key then here we are going to identify which of the columns or the attributes on the employee entity we want to enforce the foreign key constraint. All right, so we said for project ID, so we pass project ID in our parentheses. Then we are going to use another keyword called references. So references is just asking you where is the original, where does this key project ID, where is its original table, okay? Its main table, all right? So its main table is project ID is originating from project table. So you pass the project table that is already created. So imagine you do not have the project table already created. You see, that is why you have to go in with creating the table plus the foreign key. You have to follow that order of precedence. All right. Okay. Based on the dependencies. All right. So we copy. In the reference is the project table, and in the project table, we are referencing project ID. That is what it means. All right, so our first constraint is defined. Let's go ahead and define the second one. Pass constraint again. Then fk underscore department underscore emp. Then our constraint is a foreign key. Then the name, which key on the employee table are we defining this for? Do we want to enforce the foreign key? It's basically our department, okay? Department, all right. Then another keyword we're going to pass is our references. References, what table are we referencing department ID from? That is what it means, basically. We are referencing it from department table, open and close a parenthesis, pass department ID in there. Alrighty. Okay, and this is also created successfully. So this is our first strategy on how to create a foreign key together with a table. All right. So let's go ahead and run the script. Okay. This is successfully created. So we go ahead, we refresh it. We have employee created. So how do we identify the foreign keys that are being created? You go ahead and drop down on employees. Then we have a key folder here, drop it down. Then we see our foreign keys, which is fk underscore department underscore emp for the department ID attribute, and fk underscore project underscore emp for the project ID attribute. You can also go ahead and drop down the list for columns, and you see project ID and department ID being assigned the foreign key constraint. Alrighty. So this is how we create our foreign keys together with the create table command. Now let's look at how we create our foreign key without creating our table in a certain order or in a specific order. All right, so join me. Let's do the next scenario. So with the second scenario, where we will create any table of our choice and later define our foreign key, I'm going to go ahead and drop this existing table. We are going to still use the DDL drop command, drop table, then the table name. All right. So we go ahead and we drop this. All right. So that is dropped. We just replace it with the other ones. Department next. Department is also dropped. And lastly, we go ahead and drop project. And project is also dropped. So let's go ahead and refresh. Then we see all our tables are now dropped. Okay, you can comment it out. All right, so let's take the constraint out. All right, taking this out. That is out. So now I'm going to recreate the table. So unlike the initial one where we have to create department first, project second, and lastly our employee, we don't have to follow that precedence again. Now we can create any because we have not yet created the foreign keys, or we are not creating the foreign key alongside with the table. So now I'm going to go ahead and create the employee. Employee created. Project. In fact, I can run everything together, but just to debunk that it can be created without following that order. All right, so let's refresh. And at this point, if I drop down on the employee and look at the key, you see we only see a primary key there. There is no foreign key created yet. So for the second strategy, we can define all the attributes. Even in employee, we can define all the attributes without creating the primary, the foreign key together with the table. And after, we can go ahead and create our foreign key. So how do we do this in this strategy? We are still going to use our DDL alter command. So we go ahead and use alter. Alter, the object is a table. Now the table name is employee. In our next line, we are going to use the keyword add foreign key. Then we pass the foreign key we want to add. Our foreign key is basically our project ID. Add foreign key project ID. Then we pass our keyword references project table. Project table. Inside the project table, we are referencing our project ID. All right, so let's go ahead and also create the second one, which is alter. It's taking the same, so I'm just going to copy paste and make the changes. All right, so this is the same. This is going to be department for this, department ID, and this is going to be department. And lastly, this is going to be our department ID. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. This is successfully created. And lastly, let's run the last one. That is also successfully created. So let's go back and refresh on the employee table. Now let's go to keys. Then both keys are now created. All right, both foreign keys are created. So friends, this is how you create your foreign keys. And as I said, foreign key is very, very, very important in data modeling and data implementation. It establishes a relationship between our objects, and it also enforces referential integrity. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have learned something new, go ahead and like and also subscribe. See you next time. Happy learning.